Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.
Good day, ladies and gents. I'm Emilio A. Colon, and welcome to the EAC Show, coming to you from sunny South Florida. I'm joined by Marcus Smack on this Zoom meeting call. What's going on, Marcus?
All right, man, hanging in there.
It's just me and you holding it down on this Effort Friday episode of the EAC Show. Cameron Denton will be back with us on Monday. Just pretty much the same stuff as the last time. Marcus Smack just, pretty much doing the same thing, doing this whole coronavirus thing. There's a little bit more stuff to talk about because there's stuff being tried and stuff that is coming up. I know myself and Cameron were talking about the NFL draft last episode, and we had to do teams 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. The Los Angeles Chargers, the Carolina Panthers, the Arizona Cardinals, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Cleveland Browns. Those are the next 5 picks that him and I have to go over. So we'll go over that on Monday's show. And Marcus Mack, I don't know if you saw a little bit of it, but the WNBA draft is actually going on right now on ESPN. And Sabrina Ionescu was the number 1 overall pick by the New York Liberty. She's out of Oregon University, really, really good WNBA player, Marcus Mack. And what ESPN is doing right now is giving the NFL an opportunity to see how a virtual draft should take place. So I'm watching the draft, and as I'm watching the draft, there's a few mistakes here and there, delayed, on interviews between Zoom calls or whatever platform that they're using. But it's organic, it's natural, it's understandable. There is some dead time in between going back and forth, but it's real. So I want the NFL to learn from this, because you have to be able to let that natural error period or the mistake period take place.
This is something that the WNBA is doing specifically, or
yeah, their draft is today.
Okay, so do you think that that's gonna be a WNBA tactic, or would the NBA be using that tactic as well? Like, would they be doing a virtual draft?
No. The NFL is doing a virtual draft on Thursday. Okay. But what I'm saying is that the NFL needs to pay attention to the way the WNBA is actually doing it.
Okay.
Have the commissioner says her, the pick, she holds up the jersey, congratulates the pick, and then they go straight to that person who got picked, and the ESPN person interviewing that person virtually. There is no, right after the commissioner makes the selection and tells the world what the selection is, they go straight to the pick, and they go straight to the interviewer, and that's it. Like, it's done. So that's a smooth transition. Now, there are some technical flaws that are happening here and there, but that's expected when everybody's using this new form of communication that we're using right now in today's world.
Yeah.
So I hope the NFL takes notes and pays attention to what the WNBA is doing, because I'm watching the WNBA draft right now on ESPN, and ESPN, I think, is doing a really good job considering the circumstances of covering it, showing the pure, raw, organic emotions for some of these players that are living out their dream and being selected into the WNBA to be able to play the game that they love since they were little girls professionally. So I think the NFL needs to pay attention and allow that actual emotion to come through on the broadcast.
Yeah. That's and that's definitely a tough display, especially with what we've been given, with the Zoom calls and all that stuff. It's tough to be able to show those emotions and those feelings and those reactions, and I think they're doing a great job. I didn't know about it. You just told me about it today.
The problem is, Marcus, is that there's that little slight delay that people aren't used to. Like, people are used to seeing something live and the emotion being like right there at the present moment. But when they cut from me to you, or when they cut from one person to the next, there's that slight, maybe like 5-second delay that just throws everything off. It's kind of like a comedian. When a comedian tells a joke, but not everybody gets it right away, it doesn't become as funny. You understand?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. So they're making a pick. this girl is getting picked. She's so excited, but the excitement comes 5 to 10 seconds later, which throws everything off. But people have to be understanding considering the circumstances. But I think what the WNBA is doing right now is 100% a learning platform for how the NFL should do it. If the NFL does not follow what the WA is doing, they will do their fans and the player who's actually being selected, because this is a lifelong dream for them. The player that's actually being selected and the teams and the fans a disservice. So I hope they're paying attention to what the WNBA is doing.
Yeah, I agree.
So this week we'll end up. This is our F It Friday show. So on F It Friday, we got a couple of topics that we're gonna end up going through, pretty much after the promo. And right now it's just a few things that we're talking about. Marcus Mack, what you end up doing since the last episode? Anything new?
No, not really. Just trying to keep my daughter busy. She's home. They're sending home school stuff for them to do online, but after she wraps that up, then it's pretty much just play for the rest of the day. And it's like, all right, has to be something that we can do. So, I've just been doing a lot of puzzles with her and, painting and just trying to keep her sharp. That's all.
Yo, you have no idea. I feel like I feel like my parents, actuality. And I realize, sometimes while my parents are sitting there taking midday naps and stuff like that, because you gotta have that energy to be able to keep up with these kids, man, honestly, because you could run them in the morning, you could run them in the afternoon, and then still at night they want to go outside. You're like, damn, yo, what, like,
you just don't
where's it just don't stop. Like, like today I got home, and when I got home I was like, yo, let me get a couple minutes. Next thing I know, it's like 2.5 hours later. I'm like, what the hell just happened? You know what I mean?
Right, because you know me, I'm up really early, and I laid down to watch because right prior to the show, I was knocked out. I was knocked out because I fell asleep with her. Well, I fell asleep next to her, and she was up while I was sleeping. So I was the tired one, and I woke up to her just running around. Yo, what's going on, man?
At least she's nice. At least she's nice enough to let you sleep.
Oh man, yeah.
I know a lot of people out there can relate to when it's those moments when they actually get some shut eye or some like a little nap in between, and everybody in the whole house just starts making a bunch of noise and ruins your sleep. And it's just like, oh, I'm gonna remember this. Yeah. I'm gonna remember this. I'm definitely gonna remember this. But no, so we'll definitely touch base on the rest of the NFL draft on Monday's show. This is our F It Friday show. And, we got a couple of topics, Marcus Mack, that we wanted to discuss, some stuff that just straight, like, are ridiculous. Like, it's really nutty. Like, how the mindset of people in the society that we're in today just mind boggles me sometimes. I mean, the other day, my wife took a picture, some guy at Target that was he was trying to wear a mask, but his mask was actually Hanes underwear.
Corona certified.
Like, yo, like, what is wrong with you, yo? Like, I don't understand it.
I don't know.
I saw another kid in Publix. He didn't have on a mask. And Publix is a supermarket here in South Florida for those guys that are listening. And he didn't have on a mask. And they told him he couldn't come in. So he took his shirt off. He had a tank top underneath, wore his shirt as the mask, and then went shopping.
I mean, I guess you gotta do what you gotta do, huh? I know they turned me around the other day because I wasn't even thinking about it. So let me just run in the store real quick and grab something. And they told it's a small store, it's a small corner store. And they said, no, we can't let you in without a mask. Okay. So I had to run back and get the mask. But then the mask that I have is the one that you're supposed to dispose of. So I try to disinfect it, but then, a friend of mine told me, she said you're not supposed to do that. And I was like, all right, whatever, I need more masks then. But I don't know. This whole thing is just crazy. It just makes you want to just stay inside.
Dude, the funniest thing is like when I actually put on the mask in some of the stores that I have to go to. So I have a beard. For guys that are listening and don't have the visual, I have a big, big Santa Claus beard. It's very salt and pepper. So I put the mask on. When I put the mask on, the mask goes over my face, but then my beard hair still hangs out from all over the place. So I look like something out of like a horror movie or something like that. Like I'm gonna perform surgery on you, and you're not gonna live when I'm done. That's basically how I look. Like there's no chance for you to live once I perform surgery on you. That's exactly how I look. So if I ever walked into your operating room, you're gonna be like, nah, I don't want him working on me.
Well, you know what? You know, when this thing is, let's just say they open back up, you know, businesses as normal, you know, like it was before all of this. I think people should still kind of be wary and, you know, because you never know. I think we're going to talk about it later on in the show today, you know, about the sites that they opening up to do testing and stuff like that. But I think it's something that everybody should go get tested for just to make sure, especially if they're making it available to the public, because this thing is rampant right now and it got everybody on their toes.
Yeah, our level of normalcy will never be the same ever again, ever. I think a lot of things are gonna change. I think people are gonna social distancing is gonna last for a lot longer than this coronavirus will. I think everything changes. I think the restaurant industry changes. The way seats are next to each other in restaurants might be further apart. People being more conscious of whether people are wearing masks when they're cooking their food in the back or whatever. Like it's just gonna go to another level. In all honesty, it really is.
A lot of things that people wasn't aware of before, they're definitely going to be aware of now. Little small stuff like, you know, counting money and then touching your face, or, you know, just little things that you may do. Like sometimes if I'm outside, sometimes, because, you know, I wear glasses, I take my glasses off, probably rub my face. You understand? Probably put my glasses down anywhere to put it back on my face. You can't do stuff like that right now. And it makes you more aware. You understand what I'm saying? Because of this situation that we're in right now.
You know, the funniest thing I got is somebody paid me some money they owed me the other day, and they handed it to me in a Ziploc bag.
Yes.
They handed it to me in a Ziploc bag. I was like, oh boy.
The thing is, on a regular basis, you should handle money like it's hazardous material because it's gone through so many hands. There's no telling what's on that dollar bill. So, you know, like,
yeah, but it's not really until this coronavirus to where actually something like this can still live and it's in the airborne. So, you know, it's not like, you know, you really didn't have to worry about that much. You understand? Like now this damn thing can live on any surface or any, you know, it's in the air, so that's totally different. But it's just going to be completely different. The norm, there's no such thing as normal. It's going to be a new norm. We just don't know what that is yet.
definitely. I agree.
It's affecting daily lives. Shout out to the first responders that are, you know, doing everything that they can, holding it down for everybody. We definitely do appreciate you on the EAC show. And, you know, it's also affecting sports. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into this promo, and then I'm going to get into the actual topics that we're going to discuss on the Effort Friday show.
Not in Florida.
This part of Cubano Sandwich Shop. Use the promo code EAC and receive discounts on online pickups or delivery orders. Enjoy a cafe con leche or natural pre-workout shot of that Cuban coffee to start your day. The daily lunch specials and their steak sandwich is next level. Once again, use the promo code EAC. That's elcubanosandwichshop.com or 954-906-5110. Remember, use the promo code EAC, and that's El Cubano Sandwich Shop in Coral Springs. Marcus Mack, I know you were saying it before I got into the promo. You were saying not in Florida. Can you elaborate and let the audience know, people watching on YouTube and listening on the podcast, why not in Florida?
Well, Governor DeSantis has agreed to open back up, I believe, the beaches in Jacksonville. Is it Jacksonville?
I'm telling you, Florida's so crooked, man. I'm telling you right now, Florida's like the most crookedest state. We're scam city, like seriously.
And it's been like this for so long.
So for everybody that doesn't know, Jacksonville mayor begins to reopen Florida beaches as the state eases stay-at-home restrictions. And it's just, I mean, the beaches will be open from 6 in the morning to 11 and 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. with some daily restrictions. Recreational activities such as running, biking, hiking, and swimming will be permitted during this soft reopening, and that's in Duval County in Jacksonville.
And look, you know what? I don't really know what to believe because I'm hearing so many stories. I'm hearing stories of of coronavirus victims that they're throwing in the ocean. So it makes me think. But initially, when we asked this question, when this whole pandemic began, or when we first found out about it, was does it affect the animals the same way it affects humans? The answer was no, right? Saying that you know, the animals and they can't be contaminated because it doesn't affect the animals the same way as it affects humans. But now they're saying that the sea, there's bodies in the sea and the sea creatures. And I'm like, oh man, I don't know what to believe.
No, I'm with you. I don't know what to believe neither. I mean, Duval County has decided to open up beaches and parks. Beaches and parks today from 5 to 8 p.m. for exercise only. No chairs, no coolers, no sunbathing, no towels to lay out, and please practice social distancing. Like, to me, it's just like the rest of the world's trying to quarantine to stay closed. And here in Florida, we're like, yeah, we stayed quarantined and we stayed closed for a good, 2 weeks or whatever, maybe 3 weeks. And now it's time to open everything up. Now, mind you, Marcus Mack, you and I both know this. April is usually a really bad month down here. It rains a ton because April showers always bring May flowers is the same. Yo, it's rained maybe twice so far the whole month. So what's happening is people are getting nuts because the weather is so nice and people are stuck in their homes the whole time.
Yeah, and that's what's so crazy is because it's like really been great weather. And I said, after all of this sun, it's gonna be some rain. So
of course.
This summer coming up is gonna be like really hot.
Without question, it's gonna be ridiculously hot out here. You know what I mean? But we're not gonna be able to really enjoy it if we're on Smash. If we're on lockdown like this, how are we gonna really enjoy it?
Yeah, man. So they're opening the beaches in Jacksonville.
Which is weird, Marcus Mack, because you brought it up earlier before we came on to the actual show. They're opening up beaches, and here in Broward County and where we live, it's like they're doing more testing. They're opening up 2 walking testing sites. Yeah. So it's almost contradicting by sitting there saying that they're opening the beaches and the parks in certain counties in the state, but then in other counties in the state, they're increasing testing.
I believe because Jacksonville, for those of you that don't know, Jacksonville is in northern Florida, for those of listeners who don't live in the state, or the ones living in the state and just don't know. Jacksonville is in North Florida. Broward and Miami, which are 2 of the counties, Broward and Dade County, have the worst cases in the state of Florida, which I believe because this is the city area, biggest, the Tri-County, Miami, Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, the most populated in the state, and we have the highest cases. And they're opening 2 sites down here to do testing in Broward, one in Palm Beach and one in Fort Lauderdale. So I think that's probably why it is that way, because the cases are the highest down here, whereas in Jacksonville the ratio is a lot different. There's a significant gap in the numbers. So you're probably saying it's okay for them to open down there. Here's my thing, right? Let's just say that, which I could be wrong here. Let's just say that the cases decrease exponentially. They just drop. The cases drop. They do testing all around the county, and nobody has it from what they know. But then airlines open back up. This is not just a Florida thing. It's not just in the South thing, Southern states. It's not just the East Coast, West Coast. It's not even just America. It's all over the world that people are catching this thing. So you open back up outside, like everybody's calling it, open back up outside, and then you let people in. There's a chance of you letting the virus.
Yeah, it's a problem. Yes, it's definitely a problem. Definitely a problem. I mean, there's no right or wrong way to try to reopen, but we do know reopening in some way, shape, or form has to take place. So I'm not too mad that Jacksonville is doing this. It's just that I would rather be more organized in a sense. So I would rather them sit there and say, okay, Jacksonville, Orlando, or, like all of you guys, slowly but surely, we're going to go from top to bottom. Obviously there's more cases down south. So down south will probably be open last. But up north, since there's a lot less cases, what we're going to do is we're going to open up slowly but surely. The problem is once you give an inch, everybody tries to take a mile. So you're going to sit there and you're going to tell people certain things that they're going to have restrictions to do, and some people are going to test those restrictions on what they can and can't do.
Like it's been, even here, like it's been. And everybody's been like, okay, nobody's listening and nobody is going with, but I've seen this, like a lot of businesses are shut down, a lot of people losing their jobs. I think we spoke about this a couple episodes back. It's up in the millions, 6 to 7 million, people that's documented that are out of jobs.
Right.
Crazy.
So we have our oh shit moment. Normally our sugar honey iced tea moment, but since this is our Friday episode, we don't give a fuck. Our oh shit moment is basically NBA players to receive 25% less paycheck starting May 15th. So May 1st they're gonna receive full salaries, but starting May 15th they're getting 25% less on their salaries, and this is basically, of course, because of the coronavirus pandemic. Also, Marcus Mack, I saw that the commissioner of the NBA said that they're not even remotely close to coming up to a decision on when they can actually start trying to play basketball again. My opinion, the season is a wrap. I think it's over. I had a former...
Even if they could open it back up, I don't think they should. I don't think they should. Just wait until next season.
I had a former tennis player, and sometimes I speak to a lot of people that don't want to come on the show, but I speak to them and I still can use what they said. So I had a former tennis player that I was speaking to earlier today, and we were chopping it up, and he was basically telling me that the NBA should be extremely thankful because in all actuality, if you think about it, your salary gets paid based off of the service you provide to the league for the games that you play. If you're not playing games, why should you be compensated? Great point. Excellent point.
Fulfillment of contract.
Yes, but there's no games being played, so there's no...
Which is why I'm glad that they came to the decision that they did, because initially they was going to get a 50% pay cut. And the NBA Players Association that really pushed for that 25%.
Yeah, but the thing is that this is the subject was brought up. So the subject was brought up that the players are getting 25%, and my buddy was like, they shouldn't get anything. There's no games being played right now. So technically, from a contractual standpoint, you can't ask the league to hold their end of the bargain when the revenue that comes from the games and the televisions to be paid to the players isn't coming.
You're talking about everything gets cut short, and we're talking about endorsements. We talk the playoffs, which produces a lot of money, probably next to what do you call it? All-Star Weekend and all that kind of stuff.
But Marcus, that's what I'm saying. So like, if those revenues aren't being produced from games and televised shows and playoffs and such and such and such and such, how do you expect the league to actually pay you? It's just facts. I mean, he brought it up. He's like, listen, they should be thanking their lucky stars. They're getting 75% of what they're supposed to be getting. So he said, to me, they shouldn't get $1. Once the game stops, you shouldn't get paid. And the reason why you shouldn't get paid is because the revenue is not being produced.
Yeah.
Numbers are projections based off what they think is going to come in, based off their television, based off the sales of tickets, merchandising, advertisement, all those funds. If those funds or those things aren't being allocated properly throughout the season, then everything has to stop.
Yeah.
Billionaires are not in the business to pay people for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually heard from a guy. He said, I didn't get rich by spending all my money. I definitely didn't stay rich by spending all my money. So
I mean, don't get it twisted. I know for a fact that these billionaires, they do a lot of charity work. Sometimes their charity work gets overseen because they're billionaires. So for them to give away the money that they give, it's like, that's nothing. That's like me and you giving away $25. Yeah, it's like me and you giving away $25. It doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? But they do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, I think it'll all level out because they're gonna do numbers based on what they paid out now next season. So there might be some players that have to take cuts next season because of whatever money they accepted this season. But I guess, you know, it's stuff that we don't know yet. They're talking about a lot of stuff behind those doors of those boardrooms, and you know, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them because it's
Yeah,
definitely
my buddy.
everybody's taking a big loss right now. Everybody's taking.
Yeah, my buddy was like, tell him to go kick rocks, yo. He's like, tell him to go kick big ass rocks. Because in all actuality, he's like, yo, if you're not playing the games, you shouldn't be paid.
and that's coming from a player.
Yeah, former athlete. If you're not playing the games, you shouldn't be paid. It's that simple.
And he's speaking. He's speaking more for the owners, for the businesses, for the business.
Well, he's speaking of it because the owners aren't generating the income to be able to pay the players. Just because the owners are billionaires doesn't mean necessarily that they have that obligation to do that.
Now they got to come out of pocket to pay them.
Exactly. When in all actuality, the business that they have is supposed to generate the salary to pay the players.
I want to look some more into that.
Yeah, absolutely, without question.
I'm quite sure there is a way that they justified why these players should get a certain amount until the following season, because that's definitely a contingency that, hey, listen, there may be some renegotiations next season because of this situation. They actually have a clause set in place specifically for times like this, which we spoke about two episodes back. There's a clause set into place for cancellation of games. So, you know, for them to cancel these games and they still get their money, they're definitely lucky. But I believe that there will be some kind of negotiation where it's like, listen, this is what you got due to the coronavirus pandemic, and now we have to come to some kind of agreement on what we're going to do going into this 2021 season.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I think also the reason why the NBA is so they want to work with the players more than anything else is because the NBA players are the most vocal players when it comes to all sports. They speak on social injustices. They protest. You know, they engage with the fans. They're big on social media, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Snap, whatever. You know, they're the most vocal when it comes to using their platform to get their point across. So I don't think necessarily you want to be riffing with the likes of LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and make them upset to where you're not paying them in some way, shape, or form during this pandemic, because then it's just going to cause tension.
Yeah, especially with the influence that they have.
Yeah, absolutely. So then the second subject we're going to talk about, and I've only posted this on social media, was that Brian Allen, a center for the Los Angeles Rams, tested positive for the coronavirus. Now, nobody even knew who Brian Allen was. I had one person text me and ask, and I wish he would have put it in the comment section on Instagram. He asked, was Brian Allen a manager at Publix? Because nobody knew who Brian Allen was. But the second NFL player to test positive for the coronavirus, everybody knows who this guy is, and that's Von Miller of the Denver Broncos. And Marcus Mack, I know you saw it as well. He said, if I could get the coronavirus, then anybody can.
And I wonder what was his merit of saying that. I think well, is he like super immune to sickness? I think we already knew anybody could get it. Yeah, anybody could get it.
No, he basically was saying, this is his quotes, I didn't have any contact. I was just riding with my brother up and down the street getting some food. I literally took it serious. I wasn't out and about, and it hit me right in my house. So he's basically trying to explain that he feels like he did his best job of socially distancing and self-isolating as much as possible, only going out for necessities with his brother, and he ended up testing out positive. So, I mean, you know, that also has to do with the fact that at the end of the day, people still can't stop living life. You got a prime example of a man that's probably doing as limited stuff as he possibly could, and he still contracted it.
Yeah, well, did you hear about the story of the lady that contracted it, and she was in her house, and she caught it from I believe it was a Walmart a Walmart delivery. It was delivering her groceries.
Yeah.
And the person who delivered it, they found out a few weeks later that she had it.
Right.
So this lady who was in the house the whole time,
didn't move.
Social distancing, she caught it. She never went outside. She caught it because somebody came to her house who had it, who was delivering her bags, and the person who was delivering the bags didn't have on gloves or anything like that.
Absolutely, without question. I mean, there's more people recovering from the coronavirus than actually dying from the coronavirus, but no one's interested in hearing that number. More people are interested in hearing the negative side of it. And like how we said on the show multiple times, a lot of the negative attention and the controversy and stuff like that moves the needle. But, we're hoping that everybody that has this or is going to contract it ends up being okay. Von Miller feels like he's going to be okay. He's going to be cleared, even though he's afraid because he has asthma. But it seems like if you're athletic, if you're in tip-top shape, this is something that just ends up taking its course and you end up healing in about 3 to 4 weeks or whatever it may be.
Yeah, because there's definitely a lot of people that's recovering from it.
Absolutely. So we wish Von Miller, Brian Allen, and everybody else that's contracted the coronavirus speedy recovery. Our next topic, Marcus Mack, is going to be DeAndre Hopkins, who was traded from the Houston Texans over to the Arizona Cardinals a few weeks back, basically saying that it wasn't a big surprise for him that he got traded. And talking to reporters on the conference call, he says, it wasn't a big surprise to me after that. I was prepared for it. And a little bit has to do with the fact that he was asking for a raise, supposedly. And the Houston Texans didn't want to go that route. What a lot of people need to realize and notice, Marcus Mack, is the financial impact of COVID-19 and also the way the NFL now wants to conduct business. The NFL realized that these starting quarterbacks are going to be the top tier of their salary caps, Marcus Mack. So the easiest way to break it down for somebody to understand is, let's say if I give you $100 bill, right? And I say that you have one worker, and that one worker takes anywhere between $18 and $35 of that $100 bill. Now you have to then get another 52 workers underneath you with the remaining money that's left over from that $100 bill. How difficult is that?
Math-wise, yeah. But I'm quite sure. This thing is hard because you know what it is. People work off of debt and leverage. Mm-hmm. So everybody's working off of what they have, and with the NFL. I'm saying they didn't take as bad of a hit as like the NBA or the MLB is taking because they worked themselves into the end of their year, and now that the beginning of their year is starting now, it's like, okay, now they probably taking a little bit of a hit, but I don't think they're taking as bad of a hit as like the MLB or the NBA.
But you and I both know, Marcus, that there's very few owners that they're so rich that they don't care how much they spend. These are still legitimate businesses for these owners. So these owners want to see a profit. In order to see a profit, there's a certain operational cost that they like to stay within in order to guarantee that they see that profit. So in the case of the Houston Texans, like I said, with the $100 bill, they know that eventually they're going to have to pay their main guy, their quarterback, Deshaun Watson, who is still in a very, very team-friendly deal because of his rookie deal. And he's going to probably end up making anywhere up north to $30 million a season. So if you got somebody like DeAndre Hopkins, who's already making astronomical money, which is probably anywhere between 12 and 14 million, wanting a raise, that's going to cut into how much you're going to be able to pay Deshaun Watson. So it's just like, I'm just telling you, just to break it down as simple as possible. If I give you $100 and I'm telling you to operate a business and hire 53 people with that $100, and one person is going to take anywhere between 18% to 35% of your $100, it's going to be hard to operate a really good structured staff.
And we spoke about this just now. We just talked about it. Like, these people are in the business of making money. They're not in their business of coming out their pocket. But in a situation like this, you're gonna have to come out your pocket at some point because there's no money being made. Somebody has to take the L. It's just that's not willing to take the L.
Not to mention that DeAndre Hopkins was asking for a raise with 3 years still left on his contract, Marcus Mack. Yeah. So it's kind of like
they want to get him. They want to push for that raise. Speaking for the player and his team, they want to get him that raise ASAP early in the game while he's still healthy, and he still has a promising seasons. So they want that to be a part of their leverage. You know what I'm saying? So of course they're going to push for it now.
Agreed. But once all of a sudden you don't longer fit into the financial plans of the team, they have to do what they have to do, and that's why they shipped them out.
Yeah, they got to make those cuts.
Yep, pretty much. So that's going to pretty much conclude episode 29 of the EAC show on this Effort Friday episode, coming to you from sunny South Florida. Marcus Mack, I appreciate you holding it down with me for the duration of this time. How long did we get in today? How long did we get in?
30 minutes.
Hey, that's not that bad for an Effort Friday episode. We'll definitely catch you on Monday. Cam will be back on Monday. Marcus Mack will be back with us. Make sure you click, like, subscribe on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. Continue the interaction on social media, guys. We really do appreciate it. For all of the new fans, I'm checking out your podcast. I'm checking out your posts. I'm liking your pictures. I'm commenting on all your stuff. The engagement is great. Let's keep it up, and we'll see you episode 30 of the EAC show on Monday. Marcus Mack, appreciate you.
Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC show.